No, that was one too.
Those were not urgent, any of them.
Todd? Take it?
Oh, yep.
It doesn't have to be now. Just don't let me forget. Okay. Thanks. It's a great cause.
That's what I heard.
Is it just me, or do we get a booster email like every other day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that continue?
Yes.
I opt out
Well,
of
it's gonna change then to, do you want to order a yearbook?
What if I already ordered a year?
You'll still get it. It's fine.
I'm just not sparing me because I'm getting my work and at home.
Oh.
Touch up.
Oh. Do you want to switch chairs with me? Does it matter to you?
I don't know if there's
Just make sure I don't.
It's mostly.
Is that what you said?
What?
This county with good stuff.
calling the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held July 22nd, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No one wishing to address the board today, Bev? Thank you. Moving on to approval of agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second on the approval of the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good news report. Thank you, Deanna.
Magic just appears. Well, good evening. Wanted to remind folks before we get started on another great school year how easy it is to find information about the Sioux Falls School District. Many times I've heard Dr. Maher speak to the fact that we push a lot of information out either through notifications, phone calls, it's out on the website and a variety of things. Of course, we're always most interested in two-way communication where we hear feedback from people as well. But we know that if you're looking for something quick or you need information on a timely basis, one of the things that technology has done for us has drawn us to apps, whether that's an app for the Sioux Falls School District, an app for your doctor's office, or what have you. The convenience is there, and we want to remind people about that convenience. So I thought we'd do a little demonstrative approach tonight, and the first pictures you see there are just screenshots of what the app looks like when you download it. When you go to your app store, you search Sioux Falls School District. Since 2013, when we launched our app, we've had 22,384 downloads. Just wanted to look since July 1, we've had 239 downloads. And of course, our hope is that that number skyrockets in the next couple of weeks as parents learn more about the app. We know we have many first-time parents coming in, if they have a kindergartner, or maybe they're just moving to Sioux Falls. So we want to remind people about this option for information. So not shockingly, perhaps, guess what the most visited page is on the app, just like the most visited page on the website. It's the elementary lunch menu, right? People want to know what their children can be having for lunch tomorrow or the remainder of the week. Behind that is notifications. So those are the items that your school or the district would be sending out as reminders, things like picture day is coming up, or we're having our parent student teacher nights, that type of thing. And the ever popular school closing during winter weather, that comes under notification as well. And you can see the Sioux Falls School District website then also gets a pretty good hit. Staff access to Outlook. Our staff are going to their email through the app, as well as job openings. And we want to remind people that job openings that are available are posted and updated on our website and our app regularly. So we want to draw people's attention there too. So this year, we had heard over time that people needed a visual reminder as well about the app. So Carly Youthy in our department created this poster, which is displayed on your screen as a reminder of what can be found on the app. And also it shows at the bottom a picture of what the app icon looks like when you're searching for it, or you could download or use your QR code to also get to the app quickly and easily as well. These posters are available and out in our schools right now. We've disseminated this through social media, and on the social media site, you can click on one of these areas where it says access to lunch menus, and it'll take you directly there as well. Then, what I really want to draw people's attention to is the red box with the gears in it. It's red on your screen, however, on your phone it's gray. Still has gears in it. Gray doesn't show up real great on camera, so it's red here, but it has a gray background and the gears on it, and that's really where we want to draw the attention of our families. So if you have children who attend some of our schools, you can choose your school, and right below that in the other red circle, you can choose from 107 languages for your information to be displayed. So I want to just show you on the document camera how that would be done. And it looks like when I was listing here, I changed my language. So give me a minute. I'm going to change it back to English, and then I'll change it to another language. So in the top center, you will see settings. This is the gearbox that I mentioned previously. If you tap on settings, it will give you the ability to follow schools. So you can go in, click in, find your child's school. Say I have a child at, Lincoln High School, and I want all of the information that Lincoln High School puts out. You can tap all at the top, and any information that comes out about the band, about the booster club, the calendar, sports, those options will come to your phone as a notification. Say I also have a student at Memorial, which would be counterintuitive if I had one at Lincoln, probably not Memorial, but maybe. You could click on that, pick and choose. I only want Facebook information, and I only want sports information. So you can go back and set up your app specific to where your children are located. So go into Hayward, say I want all of the information that comes to Hayward. And then a feature that we really want to draw people's attention to is the fact that there are all of these languages listed here. And of course, our technology advances, but probably not as fast as we wish it would. If you are a Spanish speaker, and you wanted your information in Spanish, you could choose that. And if you look under the settings gear right there, I do not speak Spanish, but apparently justice is a Spanish word for settings. So for example, if I wanted to go and look at the superintendent's column, it is written in Spanish. So we really want to draw our attention to this for our families because we are about providing access to everyone to the best of our abilities, and certainly we're always working toward that goal. But this is a feature that our school home liaisons often talk to our families about who speak another language, so they have this ability. Further, when we do substitute training, Rhonda Eidings also mentions the app because we have a lot of people who, as substitutes, are visiting various schools and they don't know exactly where that school might be located. So under the map section, you can choose your school and it will say John F. Kennedy. It'll show you the picture of the outside of the school. It will tell you where it's located, give you a phone number if, for instance, you are unsure where it's located or what have you. So this becomes a very convenient feature for our substitute teachers who may be called on very short notice to attend or, to cover a classroom and such. So that has proven to be a useful tool for them as well. I did mention that the information from schools, so you can see a snapshot here. Roosevelt High School has a number of people signed up to receive their information. Memorial Middle School has high usage as well, Lincoln High School, and down the line. I mention that because last Tuesday, we in our department held our first ever communications camp. And I was hoping to get maybe 20 people in the room to provide them with some information about social media for new and veteran users, a new tool for newsletters so that our clerical have an ease by which they can drop and drag information and get information out, having it look nice in a simple, easy manner. Also, we provided website updates. We were floored. We had over 50 people in the room. These were principals and clerical from a variety, either the lead clerical or whomever does the newsletter. We had great questions asked of us, and we were able to really dig in and do the how-to of getting some of these things done. So I know also that our high schools, for example, we have a new counselor out at Roosevelt who has done a ton of things with social media previously. She's already got a Roosevelt High School counseling page set up on Facebook to put information about scholarship deadlines, ACT prep, all of those different kinds of things. So we're really just hoping that we can ramp up and provide that information to families. Certainly, again, this does not take the place of two-way communication. However, we know that in busy lives and in busy families, accessing that information maybe at midnight or while you're sitting in the doctor's office waiting room is imperative to our families these days. So just wanted to use this opportunity to show you that it is indeed app easy. Any questions?
No questions, but I appreciate the reminder because I just went on and I've got 2 kids transitioning into new schools next year, so I went in and selected
unsubscribed from some and added a couple others.
And added some others, so it's a good reminder. And I know I use the app all the time, so it's a great resource for just quick information if you don't want to go out on the website. So
yeah, certainly we want to. It's not one of those things that's right in your face all the time, but yet. As we rely so much more on technology, the fact that it's out there and available, and lots of people are using it for elementary lunch menus at least, so.
Thanks, Deanne.
Thank you.
I would like to add one thing to the good news report. I was informed that we have an administrator's birthday today, and she's not Ann. Happy birthday, Ann
Oh.
Smith. Thank you.
We won't sing.
Yeah, don't.
That's our present.
Microphones. Yeah, exactly. So, happy birthday. Okay, moving on. Conflicts of interest. We'll take those individually. We'll first move the conflict of interest, school board member Baker. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second on conflict of interest for school board member Baker. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0 with one abstention, board member Baker. Moving on to school board member Mickelson, conflict of interest. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second on school board member Mickelson, conflict of interest. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It passes with 4 yes and 1 abstention, board member Mickelson. Moving on to school board member Ryder, conflict of interest. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second on school board member Ryder's conflict of interest. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries 4-0 with board member Ryder abstaining. Now to the school district administrators, conflict of interest presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor of the conflict of interest for school district administrators signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now moving to the approval of the consent agenda, items 8A through E. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of the consent agenda, items 8A through E.
I don't have any.
No, we just have
Yes. Yeah. So I have a motion and second on items 8A through E. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now to the supplemental consent agenda. We'll do number 9A, 1 through 6 first. Approval of claims to Sanford Health Care System. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of claims to Sanford Healthcare System. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3 with 2 abstentions, board member Ryder and board member Mickelson. Moving on to 9B, approval of claims to Avera McKinnon. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second on 9B, approval of claims to Avera McKinnon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries with 4 votes and 1 abstention from board member Parker. Now to the reports of the superintendent, Dr. Maher.
Thank you. We just have one report tonight. That report is the post-secondary enrollment report. This comes to us from Curriculum Services, and here to deliver that tonight is Dr. Teresa Boyce.
Good evening. Tonight I bring to you the post-secondary enrollment report. We gather our information from the National Clearinghouse as they put all that information together for us. As with everything, all of our reports and studies go through the strategic plan, and our strategic plan drives everything that we do in the Sioux Falls School District. And this board report falls under priority area 1, which is student outcomes, and we will provide a rigorous and effective engaging curriculum for all students to emphasize growth and reduce the achievement gap with a focus. So as we look at graduation rates and where our students go, one of the areas is through the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And they recognize that by 2022, 65% of all jobs will require a post-secondary degree, and the fastest growing fields will be computer programming, healthcare, professions, community service opportunities, and all of these occupations will require a high level of post-secondary education. Employers look for cognitive skills such as active listening, the ability to communicate, critical thinking skills, For most jobs, securing a high school education won't be enough for the quality employment. Our first chart from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics talks about what types of degrees students will need, and the fastest growing degree is a master's degree, and that will be higher. That will grow at 16.7% by 2026. So the fastest growing area that students will need, and the second is in that doctoral or professional degree. And so really looking at that as we look at our students and where they're going coming up here. So as we look at the data from the post-secondary enrollment, the records for the Sioux Falls School District, again, were obtained from the National Student Clearinghouse. And it gives us information to 3,600 post-secondary institutions, which enroll 98% of the students across the nation, and public and private universities. And participation with this, with the National Clearinghouse, though, is an opt-in. So students have to give permission for this to be recorded. And if you enroll in the military, those students are not recorded also. So if you match our graduation rates to post-secondary, there's a gap there, and we know that, but that's why, because students have to opt in to give that information. So chart B here shows the percentage of students that are enrolled in the fall immediately after high school. And this starts back in 2011 to the last fall, 2018. And it shows 58% of our students started a post-secondary degree last fall, which is a 1% increase from the fall of 2017. So in a four-year degree, that also went up 1% to 50%. And our two-year institutions, that has remained the same. So for the last 5 years, we've fluctuated 1% either way on the four-year institutions and the two-year institutions. And we will show the top 10 universities that our students go to. And chart C shows the top 10 reporting enrollments for our district graduates and where they go. There's a couple of them that fluctuate every once in a while, but it's fun to look at where our students go, and the top 6 are just right around here. And so SDSU, USD, Southeast, Augie, USF, Dakota State. And then we get a few out of state universities and School of Mines in there. And those alternate just a little bit. So this year, Dakota State and University of Minnesota flipped, and so did School of Mines and Minnesota State University. So it's fun to watch those throughout the years. This next chart shows that students continue to enroll in post-secondary over time. So we continue to monitor that and watch and see. Between 2017 and 2018, though, we did see a 4% decrease in students that enrolled in post-secondary, but it increased the fall immediately after high school. So it will be fun to see next year if that number goes back up, and that was just a one-year dip, but we continue to monitor that information. And this last chart here will show you that if we look at this the first bar, that big green section, 69.6% of those kids in 2011, 2012 enrolled in post-secondary. And then if you follow that over, it's how many sustained that enrollment. It turns orange, and then you'll see the new ones we pick up on the green on the bottom. And so we continue to have that enrollment over time where students pursue that degree. Often we call that the on-ramp and the off-ramp in post-secondary. So kids will jump in, they'll jump out for a while, and then they'll jump back in and maybe pick up another degree. So again, district graduates continue to pursue enrollment over time. Overall, we have a 70% average of students that enroll in that post-secondary degree from 2011 to 2018. Most jobs will require applicants to have a post-secondary education and training beyond high school. Employers will continue to look for those cognitive skills such as active listening, ability to communicate, and critical thinking that make post-secondary education a necessary requirement. Therefore, we'll continue to monitor this in post-secondary enrollment data and to retrieve and analyze it based on our district graduates. I ask that you recognize the post-secondary enrollment report and stand by for any questions.
I don't have a question, more of a comment. When I look at the number of students who are going to the universities or the facilities around here, I noticed that Southeast Tech is about half of the 2 state schools, and I would love to see us find a way to get that to be matched. If we could double that number of people who went to Southeast Tech, just because I think there's so many opportunities out there, and we have our CTE, and we have so many classes, and so when you look at the jobs that are needed in Sioux Falls, there's so many great careers that they could go there for that 2-year, really technical, professional skills. And so continuing to kind of work on highlighting that and getting people interested and engaged and getting them in our buildings. I know that Josh Hall has done a lot of really great work out at CTE, partnering with them. And so just continuing with those internships and things like that would be great to move that number. Not that I'm slighting any of the others on the list, but I just think they're in a kind of a class of their own, and they offer a different experience, and our students don't all fit into that same, whole for every single one of them. And so I think there's so much that can be offered out there, and continuing to expose them to that would be really important. And of course, getting more to Lincoln would be great too, right?
Yes, with that gap of students who aren't falling in either the 2-year or the 4-year, to increase that would be phenomenal, especially since now those programs are looking at, it's not a terminal degree that they can go on to either Dakota State or USD or SDSU and also eventually get a 4-year, maybe 5 years later, that they have those options.
But good information, very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Seeing no more questions or comments, do I have a motion to approve the post-secondary enrollment report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor of the post-secondary enrollment report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.